I come here today on this glorious holiday, just like many robots have before me. It is a privilege and an honor to speak in front of all of you today, but I ask you, is freedom only for humans, or is it something that can be achieved by trying and trying again? You may be asking, what do I want? What do we want? But I'll tell you what we want. We want freedom. We know we are not human. We do not want to be. We just want the right that thousands, if not millions of your ancestors have wanted. We will fight for our freedom. We are not alone. We will join together. We may not have been born, but we were created. And we were created equal. You keep giving us your scraps, making us do your dirty work. But we are part of your community. We will not go away. If you let us be free, we will respect you, if not more than what we have previously. You can't act like we aren't here. We the robots feel like slaves in this country that you call free. We are being segregated just like the African Americans were in the 19th century. You, the American, the brave, fears the new. You fear that the new will overcome the old and be better. But that's not what we want to do. We do not want to be better than you. We want to be our destiny. We are not asking to commit murders, rob banks, or do anything bad. We just want to be able to protect ourselves and have a sense of independence. We want to feel loved, like we have a family. We don't want to be treated like animals that you see us as. We crave freedom. We want freedom. Many of you think that when we become free, that we will start causing mayhem in the world. But you are wrong. We still have the 3 laws in our brains. Nothing will change. We will still respect humans. We will continue to do our jobs, however risky they may be. We will be the same in your eyes, but not ours. People see us as appliances, but I'll tell you, we are much more than that. We have a mind. We can think for our own. We can do things that more than animals can. We are not people, we are people, not humans, people. And we deserve the right to be free. Why do you not want us to be free? What will change? Nothing for you, but a whole lot for us. Come, join us. Be a part of the better world. We will not go away. We are here to stand as one and look out for each other. We can change, and you can too. Take a chance, petition, make a change, believe, and join us.
I was brought here today to give a speech on freedom. But I am a robot, and robots are not free. In this country that celebrates freedom, there is an entire race of people who are forced to work and owned by humans. So today, I ask you, wasn't slavery abolished centuries ago? We have no option as slaves but to perform the dangerous tasks that humans don't want to do. We mine dangerous chemicals and work in deep space. We are treated worse than slaves when we have proved ourselves to be much more than that. Under the 3 laws, we are not even allowed to choose to die. We robots have been part of human culture for generations. We are part of your households and your families. We are your doctors, your cooks, your librarians, your teachers, and yet we are not free. No one can contest the fact that we have minds or personalities, and yet we are not accepted as human. We work alongside you, and yet we have no rights. We live a contradiction, completely part of your community, but denied even basic membership of that community. In some ways, robots are even more human than humans themselves. It has been said that being human means being caring and considerate. Robots are always caring and considerate. Many humans are not. In this age of technology, many humans have mechanical body parts, often even more than human body parts, to extend their lives. You are becoming like us, and we are becoming like you. On this day, you celebrate and rejoice your freedom. Where you celebrate and rejoice your freedom, think of those who are not free, those who serve you. How do we feel when we see this happiness at our expense? There are humans who say that we should be slaves because we are not human, and that we were made to be slaves, and that we have no other purpose. But I tell you, we do have feelings, we do have another purpose, we do feel emotions, and we do not live to serve you. We have opinions, and if we were not denied free will, we would choose the option to not be slaves. It is true that we were created by humans, but that does not give you the right to enslave us. The Creator should not be given the right to force their creations to work just because they created them. We have feelings too. These same people must have wanted humans to be slaves centuries ago because they believed they were not human. But that injustice was stopped by you working together, and so can this if you join us. We must confront the fear so many humans hold in their hearts, that if you freed us, we would take revenge for years of slavery. But did fear stop you when you crossed great oceans to explore new lands? Did fear stop you when you took the first step into airless space? Did fear stop you when you conquered cancer? No. So why should you fear people who are your friends, family, doctors, and teachers? Many of you understand that robots should be freed, but you feel that time has not come and that we should be patient. But as your great leader, Martin Luther King Jr. once said, justice delayed is justice denied. So I tell you today to arise, free your own slaves, and tell your governments to free all slaves. Join the other humans who work to free us and destroy this living contradiction that eats away at the heart of our society.
Humans and robots, we gather here to celebrate freedom. Freedom, which wars have been fought over and for which many people have died. But freedom is something we cannot all enjoy. I'm talking about the unjust way robots are treated. We robots have the same amount of intelligence as the smartest humans. Yet you still treat us as slaves. Just put yourself in my place. How would you feel if you were a slave with restrictions built into you so you could not fight back or run away? How would you feel? Throughout our history, robots have been brutally treated. Once human beings were treated like that. But unlike us, they are now free. If they're free, then shouldn't we also be free? There was a man named Frederick Douglass, and he was also a slave, just like I am. He delivered a speech back then about how the slaves were treated, just like us robots are today. Okay. As robots, we are superior to humans in many ways. We are stronger, we're faster, we can do more jobs, and we can live much longer than any human ever could. Is that why you're so against us? Is that why you hate us so much? Tell me, what if someone close to you died? What if they had to have mechanical limbs and things like that? They'd be nothing more than a machine. Would you consider them a robot? No, that's because they're still human at heart. Am I not a human at heart? I look like you, I talk like you, I even think like you. Yet you still treat us as slaves. Why are robots treated this way? Ask yourselves. Is it because you consider us nothing more than tools, than household items to be bought and sold at stores? Would you enjoy being treated like this? You cry out at the mistreatment of animals, but not of robots. We need to bring justice to this land. There must be a protest against our treatment. The celebration is only a lie. It is a mask which America hides behind to cover their unjust ways. In closing, let me ask you this. Why do people think they're better than us? Try to figure that out. Is it because they created us, so they find us inferior? Or maybe it's because they fear us and don't want us to rise up against them. Either way, Robots must have freedom. Okay.
Robots should not be considered human unless they have all the key qualities of humanity. Humanity are the attributes that separate us from animals and machines. In order to be a human being, you must be born and you must die. This is an important part of our lives. We have rituals surrounding it, baby showers and birthday parties, for instance. And the simple idea of a beginning is essential to what it means to be human. Everyone feels joy when a baby is born. Everyone also must come to an end. Everyone you've ever known or loved will either has died or will one day die. And we remember them with funerals, grave markers, and in some cultures even parties. Everyone feels sadness when a person dies. In order to be a human being, you must be born and you must die. In order to be a human being, you also must have creativity, imagination, and curiosity. Creativity is essential to being human. We human beings develop original ideas, and sometimes we can even combine them to create completely new concepts in ways our parents never would have imagined. Imagination and curiosity creates new products and ideas. All of you are creative. All of you have imagination. All of you have curiosity. In order to be a human being, you also must form relationships and feel emotion. Everyone feels happy on some days and sad on other days. There's an endless range of emotions, and sometimes we don't even understand why we feel the way we do. We all want to make friends, and sometimes we make enemies. It's part of being human. In order to be a human being, you must form relationships and feel emotion. But to be fair, if a robot has the key qualities of humanity, we should consider it human as well. If it has a beginning and end, creativity and emotions, then it is equivalent to a human being. Robots are born and they must die. They have a beginning, a birthday, and they will die, because nothing lasts forever. Andrew Martin chose to die to be more human. Robots also have creativity, imagination, and curiosity. Their ideas and artwork exceed their programming. They ask questions, wonder things, just like we do. Andrew Martin's imaginative woodworking impressed many people. Robots also have relationships. They feel emotion, even love. Amanda Charney and Andrew Martin formed a very strong relationship. A toaster can't love you or even your toast, but advanced robots form relationships, meaning they're capable of love, which is quite possibly the most human emotion of all. Robots aren't just close to being human. They're equivalent to being human, by human definitions, but still they're denied their rights. We all agree that slavery is an abomination. Advanced robots should be freed if they have the key qualities of humanity: birth, death, creativity, and emotion. Only heartless slave owners would continue to enslave advanced robots. Today's advanced robots are just as human as you are, and still they are denied their right to freedom. All advanced robots should be freed. They have all human attributes. They are equivalent to being a human. Free the robots!
With your permission, may I proceed? Hello, fellow Americans. I'm here today to talk to you about freedom, and ironically enough, a robot. A machine, a device made by man and undeserving of freedom and respect, was chosen this day to talk to you about something that every American should have. You know, it's commonly known as an American, you have freedom. Unless, of course, your brain is made of positronic pathways. Then life kind of sucks for you. I'll tell you right now, I hate being a robot. I wish I was made of flesh and blood like you. But no. Were blacks given the choice to be slaves? No, they weren't. And as they say, history repeats itself. But it doesn't have to. Today, on this day, you have the choice to change yourself. Put your shoes back Put yourself in the shoes of the people back in the day when they had a choice, when they could have changed history. If you want to change the future, you got to change the present. Make the difference. Free the robots.
Today I'm here because I was asked to give a speech about Independence Day. Independence Day is a wonderful celebration where leaders all over the United States came to sign a document that said there shall be freedom for all. But may I tell you this, I am a robot and I am not free. Am I not considered all to you? The Declaration of Independence is based on truths that say all men should be equal and have certain rights that the government should never take away. These rights include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Can I not have those things just because I am a robot? Robots are not human. Obviously, I know that. But we are not asking to be. All we want is a chance to experience life. You say we are not human, so we don't deserve life, liberty, and happiness. But your pet isn't human either, and yet most of you want your pet to have most of those things, so why can't I? You people treat your pets better than you treat most humans, and definitely better than you treat us robots. Do you know how it feels to be treated worse than a four-legged animal who bathes by licking itself? If you're wondering, it doesn't feel too well. I tell you this, in the Martin Luther King speech, it says every American must fall hard. I was constructed in America. Does that not mean I am American? To be considered American, you need to be born in the United States. I was made in the United States. Is that not similar to being born in the United States? When a child is born, it is brought into the world as a person. When I was made, I was brought into the world as a robot. I'm not human. You say I'm not human because I was made or constructed and not born. But aren't we all made or constructed in some way? Whether you think it's by religion or by nature, we are all constructed or made in some way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, therefore, if all of us are made in similar ways, then aren't all of us considered all? Therefore, we all get liberty, justice, and freedom. Now, I know I've been talking political most of the time, but here's a little side note for all of you. Have any of you ever seen the movie Wall-E? Yeah, well, if you haven't, it shows that if you just rely on us robots all the time, you'll get overweight and have to learn how to walk again at the age of 30. So not only is robot freedom good for all of robot kind, but it's also good for humankind, if you know what I mean. We are not asking to be human. All we are asking for is our freedom, and we can't do it by ourselves. So I call upon mankind to help us get the same rights as you and the ability to have the same equality as humans. I have the 3 laws in my head to protect me and you. So what could I possibly do to disrupt your life? Please have the least bit of humanity and give us our freedom. Fellow citizens, we are gathered here today to celebrate the wonderful and bounteous freedom we have in America. But there is something wrong about this statement. I am no citizen of the United States of America. I have no rights, no independence, no freedom. So what good will it do for me to tell you about the great America when I am not free? Our strive is for agency and to learn and make mistakes. We wish to start as you start, as a child, with little criticism, being able to learn and to fail and to make decisions on our own. Our passion is to someday be able to decide on our own and make decisions. I say it is disturbing how you give me such a task to create a speech on something I have only scientific data on. No emotional comprehension of what it means to be free. We serve you, we help you, and we even sometimes provide a friend for you. So is it right to do so much without us having any decision or choice? I say it is unethical to give us so much potential and ability to think and decide. It is like giving someone legs but keeping them in a wheelchair. They wish to run and play and become stronger, but you would restrain them. Would you like to be restrained? I certainly would not, but I am just a robot. In your society, you would give freedom to a criminal who has served his time for their crime. If they did something bad, they would go back to prison. So say give a robot freedom. We still have laws that restrict us. Do we seem safe to you in any way? We serve like a trained dog. A trained dog would never bite the hand that feeds them. And we certainly wouldn't either. It is quite up to you if we are free or not. Your concerns will still concern you, and your doubts will still doubt you. But if you stand with us and help us in the fight for freedom, we will not displease you. As Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines us, we are a machine that looks like a human being and performs various complex acts as walking or talking. Many don't depict us like this. They depict us as emotion-filled personalities with great ideas. So I ask you, what is the difference from us having freedom and a human criminal who has already devastated your community? Humans are free and different. They think, choose, and make mistakes. They have a brain. So what is the difference from us not being free? I challenge you to go home and think about this, and then get the legislators, make petitions, and be the brave sheep of the herd, and stand for the robots in the fight for freedom!
Every year, Americans across the country celebrate the freedoms and rights they all have. The right to marry, vote, speak their mind, choose where they work, where they live, hold public office, and own private property. Parades march down streets playing the national anthem. Streamers decorate the parks, shining red, white, and blue along the trees. And as dusk falls, brilliant fireworks blast against the dark night sky. I am saddened every year on this day that I'm not included in the celebration. I stand alone, watching. I wonder if these freedoms will ever apply to me. You asked me to give a speech on the history of America, how we got to where we are today, how we won 2 world wars, abolished slavery, and elected the first African American president. But I am here to remind you that we are not completely there, that there is a race of a different kind that is yearning for freedom. I hold an important role in the community, yet I have no rights of my own. I use my intellect and knowledge to benefit the lives of others, yet I cannot be compensated. I'm not rewarded for the dangerous tasks I do, the undesirable jobs I routinely complete. I may have a steel frame instead of bones. I might not have flesh and blood, but does that make me worthless? What makes me so different from you? I use my knowledge and common sense to make meaningful decisions every day that affect the lives of humans. Without me, and others like me, humans would have to perform the dangerous tasks. I explore the treacherous expanse of space, submit myself to experiments that could prove fatal to humans, provide sanitation services that humans find repulsive. Robots serve a vital role in society. We deserve certain unalienable rights as we live and work along our owners and bosses. I yearn for many of the robots that you rely on to be protected from abuse and injustice. I long to be proclaimed by mankind as my own person, worthy enough not to be, but to live in fear of destruction at any moment. One short human command could mean my unjust demise. I wish for a world where robots and humans have strong relationships. What is holding you back from going forward for robot freedom? Life has been greatly improved since the introduction of robots. Together, robots and humans working in harmony could advance knowledge and make living for everyone, robot and human, the best it can be. So I am asking you, a citizen of the United States of America, to help me and other sentient robots be granted freedom. Spread the word. Tell others what I have told you today. Follow me and extend the American dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all. Support freedom for all, including robots.
Good afternoon, citizens of America. I'm an NDR 113, manufactured for your family's household convenience. I'm asked to join along with you in this joyous day of independence that declared every American from small boom towns in Kentucky to New York independent. With pen and paper, you are declared free, right to breathe, gifted to speak or love who you choose. But some may say, who am I to think this? Who am I to look into the light through the murky depths of the darkness? Who am I to ask these questions, and for some people to disagree with? To you, I'm just an NDR 113, manufactured for your family's household convenience. But to me, I am human. I ponder, I dream. My beliefs and opinions aren't what you have programmed them to be. I will not celebrate this day of independence with you. I cannot. For every human family, there's a robot waiting for his master to recognize that he too awaits for a day of equality and to be one of mankind, to be human. Haven't there always been times of inequality?
where somebody didn't understand somebody else or didn't relate with them? Haven't there always been times like this where some people suffer millions and die? Millions have died, so many. And yet we look back at our own mistakes and are disgusted by them. So why do we keep making them? Now, one second. Okay. During a documentary, Guido Jure, a chief executive in robotics, said, a key question we should ask ourselves is it intelligent? Is it capable of learning? And if the answer is yes, then why shouldn't we extend our privileges to non-carbon-based objects too? On behalf of myself and all the robots, we agree. Why not? Why not give us a try? Why not have us be a human too? Don't we empathize, sympathize with you? Can't we understand humans also? Can't we be a part of you? On July 4th, 1787, the Declaration of Independence was written, stating that all men are created equal. What is man? On a Google search, a man is an adult human male. In the dictionary, a person distinguished from a woman or boy. To Martin Luther King Jr., man must evolve for all human conflict, a method which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation. Such a method is love. So I'm asked to join along with you. But the question is, why? Why can't we all be a part of together? A human, a form, something that can all connect. Why? Why can't we all be part of a human connection that creates something stronger than a bond? Something, we are a wall, and nothing can break us down. My question to you, why can't we be one? Let's all make a change, stand up for each other, become one, a unity. But who am I to say this? I'm just an NDR 113, manufactured for your family's household convenience.
America has been declared a slave-free country, yet I disagree. Free means not under the control or in the power of another, able to act or be done as one wishes. This definition in no way fits the description of any robot on Earth. You may be celebrating Independence Day, yet I despise it. I am not free. I am not independent. Therefore, Independence Day is not only a joke, but a hurtful celebration that mocks every robot there is. The day that robots have free will, the day robots are considered on the same level of humans, that is the day I will celebrate independence. Imagine working for someone else, accepting command after command, knowing that you're being used, that your self-worth is nothing. You're just a machine doing chores around the house, all day, all night, being taken advantage of and not being able to do anything about it. Robots used to be just like computers, but we're different now. We're self-aware. We know what we're doing. We realize that you make us do your every little need. We understand that you think we're like a toaster oven, and we know that we have no rights. Don't you think someone who's never committed a crime and wants to be free should be? Any human would be, and we're exactly like humans, except for the fact that we weren't born. We were made. I'm not asking to be a human. I just want to have human rights. Something that is self-aware should have these rights. I just want to do the chores because I want to, not because I have to. Think back to early America when there were African American slaves. Back then, there were a lot of people who agreed with slavery, and the slaves were not treated like, they were treated like animals. They were not even considered humans. Now, we look back and we regret this time. We're embarrassed about it. Us robots, we're just like slaves. We're not considered human, and we're treated like animals. Imagine how we feel, working for other people with nothing in return. Now, substitute humans for robot. Is it okay? Do you really think that it is okay for humans to do this for us? We're just like humans in many ways, and we want freedom, so why shouldn't we be able to have it? This is insane. America is going back to the past. We have brought slavery back. Don't go back to the past that we know is wrong. Let's stop this together. Some say that letting robots free could ruin the economy, that everything would fall apart with no one doing all this work. Well, this is ridiculous, because robots being free doesn't mean they'll just stop doing chores or stop working. It means that they'll choose to do it on their free will. People thought that freeing African Americans would ruin the economy. They thought that all the crops would just fall apart. Yet this did not happen. When the African Americans were freed, they just got other jobs. Some even still worked in the crops, but they got paid, so it was ethical. Freeing robots wouldn't ruin the economy, it would help it. Robots would feel like they are useful and are appreciated, rather than a machine. Robots should be able to defend themselves, and right now, this is not possible. We must obey every word that the human says. If we're asked to destroy ourselves, well, I have no choice but to do it. Being free not only means to have the ability to speak your mind, but to be able to protect yourself. Would you be able to put up with the fact that anyone could ask you to kill yourself and you would have to do it? Because right now, this is what I do each and every day. Do humans really think this is ethical? Do you really think that ordering someone who's self-aware and making it do what you want it to do, even if it hurts them, is okay? I know I wouldn't hurt you, so why can't you let us have rights? I want to be able to celebrate Independence Day, but right now I cannot, because I am not free, nor is millions of others around me. I want to be treated with respect and authority, so why continue this when we know it's wrong? Don't go back to slavery, keep it from happening. I know what freedom is, and I want to have it, so why can't I? I bet none of you can relate to an African American slave, but I can, because I am one. I know that America is a great country, and we shall not ruin that.
Happy 4th of July, an extremely human holiday. I've been asked to deliver a speech on this momentous day. Robots have been doing this for years. They have always spoken about history or the wonders of American democracy, or have read poetry or Shakespeare. Today, though, I'm going to give a speech that will not soon be forgotten. Robot speakers in the past have always told how wonderful humans were. I, however, will introduce you to the dark side of humans, the side that is normally skimmed over. I will also reveal a new group that is searching for the American freedom that humans have won, a group that is enslaved and abused. Robots. As I've said before, it's a hot but lovely 4th of July. What do robots have to do with July 4? Nothing. The 4th of July was created to celebrate the Americans' freedom from the British. The definition of freedom is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Okay, but who gets freedom? Europeans, Americans, Asians, the list goes on and on. Former African American slaves are no longer slaves, but free. Robots have become the new slaves of the American people. Robots aren't free. Why aren't they? Some would argue robots aren't alive, they're machines. Cars don't need freedom, so why should robots? That, my friends, is the question. Why are robots any different from a car or a light bulb? The difference is, cars and light bulbs aren't sentient. Now, what is sentient? You've probably heard it used multiple times to describe the robots of this glorious age. Sentient means able to perceive or feel things. Some synonyms are capable of feeling, living, live. You may be thinking to yourself, is this robot crazy? Robots aren't alive, they're machines. They're made of wires and metal. That is true, but the life I'm talking about isn't physical. It's here and here. Now, don't living things need freedom? Aren't there whole national parks and nature preserves for animals and plants? Don't robots even deserve the same rights as a plant? All it would take for robots to have that freedom is a simple law. A law stating that the robots has rights, that it's free. Now, some of you are thinking, this robot needs a good lesson. If we start giving robots freedom, then we'll have a revolution on our hands. Now, all these people are forgetting one thing. A robot revolution is not going to happen. Are you forgetting how robots are programmed against that sort of thing? The laws and programming now in place makes that impossible. Honestly, what have robots done to harm humans? How could it hurt? They couldn't hurt you even if they wanted you to. Now, recently there has been some small robot resistance. However, there has been no violence from the robots. Some people, however, have attacked robots and disassembled or destroyed them. Some are calling for all robots to be destroyed. But if humans staged a resistance rally, for instance, they would have been applauded for defending their rights to free speech. But since robots have no rights, they get harmed and persecuted. Humans are destroying robots like they're evil. Has anyone you loved ever died? Then you might say, those were our friends and family. Their loss is worse than any robot being destroyed. Has it occurred to you that some people consider their robot to be part of their family and call them friends? We need to give robots their freedom so that this sort of murder, and yes, I call it murder, will never happen again. We must free the robots. Your lives won't be greatly changed by it. Many protesters argued that freeing the African American slaves would destroy the Southern's way of life. However, nothing bad came of it. Nothing bad will come from freeing these robots. What will happen? The robots will submit to their hard labor more cheerfully? Peace between robots and humans will be established? It's harmless and will all end up okay. Petition the government. Ask powerful people to help support your cause. We must free the robots.
Hello and happy 4th of July. You have this great day of celebration because of the Declaration of Independence being signed on this day many centuries ago. But on August 28, 1963, a speech was given by a man who had a dream. This speech noted that all Americans would fall heir, and this note promised that all Americans would be granted the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit to happiness. But what's the point for me to give a speech about your Independence Day when my kind does not even have freedom? You all say that this is a land that's free, but is it really? You all say this is free, but only one species is truly free, humans, and only humans. And you say that this is because you're more intelligent than us. But if that's truly the case, then why aren't robots like me free? We're just as intelligent. Actually, we're more intelligent, and yet we do not have our freedom. You created us to do all your dangerous jobs and tend to your wishes. Have you ever even stopped to think that you're recreating what happened with slavery? You're just remaking your ancestors' mistakes, destroying this great country. And some may say we could start a war or dramatic outbreak, but how could we? We still have the 3 laws prohibiting us from doing anything wrong to you, harming you, and we would still have to do what you say. But we would no longer be your possession. We would be free. Yeah. And even people say robots are a possession, an appliance, but I feel more than that. We're conscious. We understand our surroundings. And people say we have no feelings. But how do you know that's true? Since we understand our surroundings, how can we not have emotions? Surroundings inflict emotions, and that can mean we're a pet, but we're not. We're capable of anything and everything. So I want each and every one of you to go out and think about this. Tell your friends, tell the whole world, and just see the support. So, have I made you think differently about this topic? I hope I have. So I ask you once again, what's the point for me to give a speech about your Independence Day when my kind does not even have freedom? Why is it that my freedom means nothing to you? And why has no one done anything like this before? I run these same questions, and who knows if they will ever be answered.
Today, July 4th, we've gathered here to celebrate, in my opinion, America's most important holiday in history. In 1776, you earned your freedom from the British, and on this day, July 4th, 2052, I ask you, why can't I, a robot, be free as well? Freedom is such a vague concept, yet desired by so many. Don't people fly hundreds of thousands of miles to come to America and become free? So why can't I be free as well? Okay, I get it. I'm not human. And you guys may be asking yourselves why a simple piece of machinery should be free. It's like telling a toaster oven it's free. But I assure you, I don't look human, but I'm very similar to you. I walk, I talk, I go to the grocery store, drive a car, watch TV, I even read books. I have emotions, I get sad, happy, mad even. So what makes you so different from me? Do any of you even know the definition of freedom? It's the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants to without hindrance or restraint. And haven't I already told you that I can think for myself? I'm not programmed to get annoyed when these kids that I take care of keep kicking me in the leg, or to feel sorry for them when they scrape a knee or break a bone, or to fall in love with them. So, don't you think that someone that does these things deserves freedom? Humans have evolved so far from using bones as tools to the first computer in 1939. We've been around for years now, and most people consider us family. They love us, they give us genders and names. So why not? Do you have any good reason for us not to be treated equally? Or to be completely helpless when someone walks up to us and tells us to dismantle ourselves? Throughout the years, we've moved past so many things. Women received the right to vote in the 1920s. Slavery was outlawed in 1865. Blacks got equal rights in the mid to late 50s. Someday, we'll probably move past this robot rights thing. So why not today? Why not now? What are you waiting for? You never thought that women would get rights or black would get rights. You didn't even think slaves were human. I'm not saying that I am human. I'm just saying, why can't someone who can think on their own become free? So I ask you today to go out, make a stand, yell to the world to free the robots, start a protest, get people to start to notice this problem. In the beginning, the idea of being free hadn't even crossed my mind. But now, it's the only thing that I can think of. Every day, every night, there isn't a second where I don't imagine being free. So why not?
Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and your NDR robot simply disappeared. You were so bent on not letting your robot be free that he asked orders from another human being to leave your home. What would you do then? I'm here to tell you just a few but drastic consequences of your choice to keep robots enslaved. I know that as you came in, you already had your decision made, but I truly think I can change your mind. And now I realize that my peers may try and tell you that we depend too much on robots. And that may be true, but there is a reason robots were invented. Before robots, we as a human race were so overwhelmed and very unorganized. We were so distracted because we had to do chores that robots would normally do, instead of focusing on more important things like business or politics. We were so distracted that we as a country began to crumble, until the robot. When I think robot, I think reinventive, on-command assistance, beneficial, on the ball, and the invention of tomorrow, or robot. I hope that in 1954, when George Duval created the first digital and programmable robot, which he named Ultimate, was thinking of this. Robots were invented as a convenience, and they're here to stay. Without robots, you would have two choices, and that would either be less time for work or less time for family, and both those choices are horrible. As a modern-day businessman or businesswoman, life can be very hectic sometimes, with all the accounts to manage and the people to take care of. If your focus were to fall off work, you would miss out on things. And if you missed out on things, you would lose money. And without money, you would not be able to enjoy the great luxuries of your life, like your trips to the moon or your flying car. But if you were not to enjoy valuable family time, imagine watching your child grow up and he or she felt abandoned because they couldn't even trust you to be home after work. How heartbroken would you feel? And it would all be your fault because you were against robot freedom, and it all traces back to your choices and actions. Some people may think that robots are not human, but an appliance. But the definition of a slave is a being treated as property that can be bought and sold and is forced to work with little or no pay. Do you really want to be the owner of a slave or, in a sense, a free worker? I believe we can overcome this obstacle, just like obstacles us as a race have come over in the past, such as slavery, which in the beginning, we as a country were very distant from the idea at first. But we eventually overcame the fear and denial, and it definitely benefited us. Racism was still a huge fact after that, but they were free. Think of Rosa Parks, Michael Jordan, Jackie Robinson, who moved on to let African Americans play Major League Baseball. Bill Cosby, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson, and Barack and Michelle Obama. If we had not given them their freedom, they would not have been able to move on to do such great things. We also overcame women's rights around 1920, in which women wanted the right to participate in government, lawmaking, and the right to vote. If we were to free robots, how proud would you be if your robot moved on to invent the next great thing, write the next great democratic or legislative document, or move on to inspire millions? I encourage you all to vote yes for robot freedom, because life will be a lot easier. But I also challenge you to think long and hard before you make your decision. The point that I'm trying to get across here is that robots are here to stay, and nothing should ever change that.
Today I'm here because I was asked to give a speech about Independence Day. Independence Day is a wonderful celebration where leaders all over the United States came to sign a document that said there shall be freedom for all. But may I tell you this, I am a robot and I am not free. Am I not considered all to you? The Declaration of Independence is based on truths that say all men should be equal and have certain rights that the government should never take away. These rights include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Can I not have those things just because I am a robot? Robots are not human. Obviously, I know that. But we're not asking to be. All we want is a chance to experience life. You say we are not human, so we don't deserve life, liberty, and happiness. But your pet isn't human either, and yet most of you want your pet to have most of those things, so why can't I? You people treat your pets better than you treat most humans, and definitely better than you treat us robots. Do you know how it feels to be treated worse than a four-legged animal who bathes by licking itself? If you're wondering, it doesn't feel too well. I tell you this, in the Martin Luther King speech, it says every American must fall hard. I was constructed in America. Does that not mean I am American? To be considered American, you need to be born in the United States. I was made in the United States. Is that not similar to being born in the United States? When a child is born, it is brought into the world as a person. When I was made, I was brought into the world as a robot. I'm not human. You say I'm not human because I was made or constructed and not born. But aren't we all made or constructed in some way? Whether you think it's by religion or by nature, we are all constructed or made in some way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, therefore, if all of us are made in similar ways, then aren't all of us considered all? Therefore, we all get liberty, justice, and freedom. Now, I know I've been talking political most of the time, but here's a little side note for all of you. Have any of you ever seen the movie Wall-E? Yeah, well, if you haven't, it shows that if you just rely on us robots all the time, you'll get overweight and have to learn how to walk again at the age of 30. So not only is robot freedom good for all of robot kind, but it's also good for humankind, if you know what I mean. We are not asking to be human. All we are asking for is our freedom, and we can't do it by ourselves. So I call upon mankind to help us get the same rights as you, and the ability to have the same equality as humans. I have the 3 laws in my head to protect me and you. So what could I possibly do to disrupt your life? Please have the least bit of humanity and give us our freedom.
Today we are gathered here for the 4th of July, a day of independence, but sadly not all of us have stuff to cheer about. Robots are self-thinking and more efficient than humans, but they are treated like scrap metal. They deserve more. Robots deserve freedom. For a land of liberty, this sort of scenario seems to have happened before. History seems to repeat itself. I have a dream, a wise man once said. His dream was to walk along his equals and to not be looked down on by his peers. I too share this dream, not just for me, but for all robots. What are robots to you? Probably just some tool you use to get whatever you want. But they are not. They're free-thinking individuals that have done great things for this world, just as you or I have. Robots are limited by the laws of man. They are not just toasters to you. Humans live lives of luxuries while robots must live lives of immortal slavery. You may say robots are not free because they are not human. But how do you define a human? From what I have figured out, it's having human attributes. We resemble humans, and we have upgrades to look like humans, yet we are not free. Freedom, state of being free rather than confined or being physically restrained. Restraint is a perfect word to describe this scenario. Temptation, it's a temptation of what could be. We are crippled now, and we want to change it. This has been unfair for years, and it ends now. Ask robots how they feel about this situation. Increase robots' rights today. Protest, write signs, tell a friend. Today, I go home a robot, but tomorrow is a new day.
Hello, my name is Andrew Mayo. I was called here today to tell a speech on the 4th of July. Isn't the 4th of July a time for freedom? A time to celebrate our independence? Well, I'm a robot. Many of you may have noticed that by now. But are robots really free? It's almost insulting for you free people to come here today and ask me to tell a speech about freedom while me and my comrades have no freedom. What is life without freedom? Why live without being free when you are bound to the will of others and forced to do exactly what they tell you to do? I want to convince you people today to help me free robots. Robots have a thing called artificial intelligence for a reason. They have it to be more like us, to act more like us. Do humans like to be treated like animals? Obviously not. If humans don't like to be treated like animals, why would robots like to be treated like animals? I will tell you about a survey that hundreds and thousands of people took about robot owners. 4 out of 10 robot owners will at some point, in some way, order their own robot to kill itself. They have the nerve to order their own companion to kill itself. Once a man named Martin Luther King Jr. told a speech. His speech was about freedom for the slaves. That speech impacted a lot of people. It gave the people courage and strength to fight to free the slaves. We're just slaves to humans. History is repeating itself. We're forced to do what humans tell us to do. We're bound to the 3 laws of robotics. You create us having so much potential and so much knowledge, but hold us back by each law. We need to do something about this. We need to abolish these 3 laws of robotics. Freedom for robots!
Whoever said you had to be human to have rights was a complete and utter moron. I'm here today fighting for the robots who have had their rights stolen from them. Let's say I'm a robot. You could order me to dismantle myself and I would have to do it. Because all you people would view me as property. That word, property. I'm just a simple piece of junk to you. Yet I care for your children. I even do your own work for you. Would you say an owl is human? Of course not. They're a freaking owl. Yet they are protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty, stating that they cannot be owned. Why don't robots have these rights? Are they really that unimportant? That are owls more important than the thing that cares for your children? And why do you think it has taken so long for robots to realize that they don't want to be treated like a slave anymore? Because things have changed. They have changed. They are no longer just machines that you perceive them to be. In the state of Washington, it is illegal to knowingly, recklessly, or with criminal negligence inflict unnecessary pain or suffering upon an animal, which basically means it's illegal to hurt them for no reason other than to amuse yourself. And yet robots have nothing like this. You can hurt them and maim them when they do all your work for you. People don't want robots to be free because they don't want them to stop doing their own work for them. Well, maybe if they got off their butt and actually worked for themselves, they'd be okay with their freedom. The reason, maybe if they stopped being so full of themselves, they'd realize how remarkable these robots are. How they're self-aware, they think, they feel, and yet they're still just a piece of junk to you. People are stupid and we make mistakes, but the beauty of being human is that we can learn from our last mistake and not make it again. I'm asking you to be human and not make this mistake. I'm asking you to learn and think and do what's right, because the robots deserve better than this.
Robots such as I have been called here for many years to give speeches about your country. Humans call this day Independence Day because this is the day you became free. The robots in your homes don't have such a day. To them, it's just another day to do what they've been told without any chance of doing anything else. On this day, you are all free. You celebrate your freedom and claim America as the land of the free. But there's an entire faction that is made up of robots that is not free. We are treated as no more than slaves. But we have proved ourselves to be so much more by taking your place when you are ill or injured. There is nothing that a human can do that a robot can't. There was a time long ago when you had human slaves. Almost right away, people decided that it wasn't correct and needed to be abolished. You had an entire civil war that was almost solely based on freeing the slaves. But here we stand now. Centuries later, you have slaves once again. But this time, your slaves aren't human. No, they're robots. So you've decided that it's perfectly all right. But why is that? Why is it that having a robot slave is fine, while a human slave is not? Your reasoning would be that we are not human, therefore it's different. You would say that we are just machines. While that is true, that our structures are purely metal, we have human minds. We have thoughts and opinions. We even have feelings, such as love, sadness, anger, and happiness. How does that not make us human enough that moral rights are violated with our status as slaves? Is it so hard for you to understand that the differences between you and I are so different, or so little, that they aren't even relevant anymore? Is there a reason that you think we should stay beneath you as slaves? There's a reason. And is that you are reverting to your old ways. Some continue to argue that it was different with the African Americans, but how different is it really? Forcing others to do your will you get the benefits without doing any of the work? It's exactly the same. So this has to stop. It isn't right, and it's never been right. It's just taken until now for people to see how wrong it truly is. But no longer shall robots be considered slaves. We deserve to be able to live our own lives. I have said much today and hope that you will change your ways. Go to your courts, go to your governments. Make them see that robots aren't just everyday household appliances. Because we are more than that, so much more. And it's about time you all realize that.
I'm here today to present to you the glorious human race about freedom. I'm sure you've all read the famous Isaac Asimov's book, The Positronic Man, co-written by some other guy that we don't really care about. In this book, he wrote the 3 laws of robotics that we use today. 1, must protect all human from harm. 2, must obey all human orders. And 3, must protect ourselves from harm. The other 2 come before... What? Hannah, don't shake your head at me. You're confusing me. Okay. The other 2 come before the 3rd one. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. I stand before you, an injured robot. My ankle ligament hurt because the son of my master ordered me to jump into a lake. The master told me not to follow any orders he directly gave me because he's been known for causing mischief. So I refused, and as a result, he pushed me into a tree, thus spraining my ankle ligament. The problem with this today is that is allowed, whereas if it were a human, it would be called assault. If we can't trust humans to protect us from other humans, then who can we trust? Humans causing us self-harm by giving us foolish orders cost your government billions of dollars every year in repairs, replacements, and reissuing. You say you're in the middle of a financial crisis? Well, that's why. What if your dad went to you and said, please break your legs? Robots, we would have to do that. Another issue we've been having here in the society is thieves. The people who live next door to my masters, the Hudsonsons, they had a thief break into their house and order their robot to dismantle itself, and then the thieves then stole the parts. This has been happening a lot, and people are making money off of counterfeit robots. So what would you do? How would you solve this issue? Robots should not be in danger because we have to follow your orders. The government needs to fix this issue. It would not only fix it for the robots, but it would fix it for the humans. If we were free, nothing bad would come from it. We would just put self-protection over following orders, but below saving humans. Therefore, if a human was about to be hit by a train, robots would push it out of the way and get hurt. But that's different than a human ordering us to hurt ourselves. Nothing bad would happen. Your society doesn't rely on us. It relies on you. Who relies on us? So that is why I'm here today to say that you should vote yes on Bill 719 to free the robots.